And whomever is present in the meeting, I welcome you all. And if you have any queries or doubts, because Tatvidya Sambhasha is Buddhivardhakam, you know that. So Madam is there. Please utilize her talent and utilize Madam's knowledge. So feel free to interact with Madam. So thank you, Madam. Once again, I welcome you, Madam, for this session, Madam. Thank you very much, all. Thank you, one and all.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Dr. N. Sudhiraj Memorial Weekly Webinar Series conducted by Ayurveda College, Coimbatore, powered by Diksha e-Learning. Starting from today, we are conducting weekly webinars in fond memory of Dr. N. Sudhiraj, former principal, Ayurveda College, Coimbatore. Sir made great contributions in the field of Ayurveda as a good Vaidya, Guru, and administrator. Sir completed his UG at Ayurveda College, Coimbatore and PG at Ayurveda Mahavidyalaya, Hubli. Sir joined as lecturer at his mother institution in the year 2007 and later served as the principal at Nanda Ayurveda College, Erode in the year 2019 before joining back at his alma mater on December 26, 2019 as the principal. Sir was the former Zonal Secretary Ernakulam, Executive Committee Member, State Committee Member of AMA and Secretary of AMA, Kottayam District. Sir has also been working as NABH Principal Accessor for many years. Time flies fast. Life goes at its own pace, but some memories can never be forgotten or erased from the minds of dearest ones. Today, we are honored to have with us Dr. Kamini Dhaman ma'am. Ma'am is currently working as Associate Professor, Department of Prasuti Tantra and Stri Roga at All India Institute of Ayurveda, New Delhi. She's also in charge of Tele-Eco Clinic, Infertility Clinic, Menopause OPD at All India Institute of Ayurveda, New Delhi. Previously, ma'am has worked at Institute for Postgraduate Teaching and Research in Ayurveda, Jamnagar. Ma'am has 28 years of teaching experience and 30 years of clinical experience. She was honored with Teaching Excellence Award in the year 2018 and Charaga Award in 2020. Ma'am is involved with 7 research projects and has published more than 90 research articles. She has also presented numerous papers at various national and international seminars. Before starting the session, I would like to go through a few of the basic instructions to be followed throughout the session. For an uninterrupted class session, use laptop with high-speed internet connection. Please make sure your microphone is on mute to have a disturbance-free session. In case of any disruption, please check your internet connection first, and if the problem is within our network connection, kindly raise the issue in the chat box. Filling your full name to be displayed is appreciated. Any suggestions can be sent in the chat box. For queries, the participants are requested to raise their hand at the end of the session. Now, I would like to hand over the session to ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Jyotsna. And thanks to Dr. Molly for invitation for this session. Previously also, with the invitation of Dr. Sudhiraj sir, I have given lecture on this platform also. And now in the memory of Dr. Sudhiraj, you are doing this lecture series. And today, and thanks Dr. Jyotsna also for nice introduction and instructions to participants. Today, the topic selected is somewhat different, as I'm working on menopause since last so many years, and I have observed that after attaining menopause, what are the problems females have to face? During reproductive years, they are coming to us for a menstrual problem or for the problem of infertility or some other problem related to reproductive system. But what is the, you can say, what is the role of reproductive system after menopause to be responsible for other disorders that I have seen in my patients. So thought to discuss that during we can say reproductive years or adolescence, females, girls are coming to us with the problems of PCOS. For I have observed that for only if they are having cosmetic reason they comes to us, or if they are having problem of infertility, then only they visit to us. For menstrual problems, they just take some pills or some other medications and they pass their reproductive period only. But PCOS is having impact upon her later life, or we can say postmenopausal life, and that is sometimes very we can say painful, and we have to make them aware for that, that your lifestyle, your disorders of reproductive age, how they have impact upon your postmenopausal life. So it is somewhat different. Hope you will like to have discussion or to listen to this topic. So I would like to share my screen, right? Is it visible? Screen is visible to all of you? Let me know that screen is visible.
Not yet, ma'am.
Not yet.
Now it is visible, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, now that you all know that polycystic ovary syndrome, you all know that what is it and how it affects in the, as I told you, that reproductive age as well as adolescence as well as menopausal female. And throughout her life, health, you can say, or quality of life across the life course is affected by this disorder. And it is most common, we can say, endocrine disorders uh, being represented by various signs and symptoms. There is broad range. We can see signs and symptoms related to reproductive system, endocrine system, and metabolic alterations also. And phenotype can change, and according to that it requires some our diagnostic approach and treatment should be personalized. In each and every patient you have to make some personalized treatment protocol, or we can say customized uh, treatment protocol. But as I have told you that after attaining menopause, this type of syndrome evolves from reproductive disease to more metabolic disease. More metabolic problems are seen in postmenopausal females. Manifestation of PCOS, you all know that sometimes oligoovulation, sometimes anovulation, sometimes associated hyperandrogenism, or after investigations, you can see that polycystic ovary is there. It means it is a HPO axis dysfunction along with anovulation. But other causes of anovulation are having different feature other than PCOS. PCOS is typically has we can say androgen axis, and some subtle alterations in serum levels of gonadotropins and estrogens. And we have seen that it is having origin in the intrauterine environment. Bija dosha, kshetra dosha are also responsible for this disease, and it is now proved that some genetic components are also involved in the manifestation of PCOS, which that girl or that female has to face in later life. So, influence of some other factors which modern science have elaborated in view of research or changes going on found in her body are interleukin 6 and interleukin 10 gene polymorphisms and interferon C and transforming growth factor beta 1 may responsible for the PCOS. It means if interleukin 6, as you all know, that is related to chronic inflammation in women. So low grade chronic inflammation in women with PCOS can be involved with the pathogenesis of type 2 diabetes mellitus and cardiovascular disease. Get my point? If there is inflammation, interleukin 6 will be there, and that will be responsible for type 2 diabetes mellitus as well as cardiovascular disease. Why? Interleukin 6 is a major pro-inflammatory cytokine in chronic inflammation, and it is closely associated with insulin resistance and cardiovascular anomalies. Obesity. We all know that obesity is related to type 2 diabetes mellitus, or we can say it is risk factor for diabetes mellitus. But it is also seen that it is associated with the elevated level of interleukin 6. Why I am discussing this IL-6? That when we are doing research or we are treating the patient, it is seen that if you investigate the female, interleukin 6 is elevated. After giving treatment to the female who is having PCOS, interleukin 6 level will be decreased. It means it is related to PCOS pathogenesis. It can be useful biomarker to assess the result of your treatment. If patient is having capacity to pay, or you are having all infrastructure, so many PG scholars are, I think, may listening this lecture. So if you plan any research topic for PCOS, you can also take this interleukin 6 as biomarker to assess the results in the patients of PCOS. As it is not an interesting characteristic, but it is useful in monitoring the treatment protocol. Whatever you have given the treatment to patient, and if you assess the interleukin 6, it will be reduced. It means your treatment has worked. I will discuss on which principle of Ayurveda this result is being assessed, or result you are getting in your patients. So IL-6 is also seen in the patients having cardiac, or we can say cardiac issues, and after 4 months of treatment it can be reduced. So it means it is related to inflammation. So early intervention in the inflammatory cascade may help you to prevent your patient who is entered into menopause. We can say that we can save that patient from cardiovascular problems. Now, interleukin 10. What is it? It is multifunctional cytokine, which is having immunosuppressive and anti-angiogenic functions. It can tumor promoting, it can be tumor inhibiting. So it is having both the properties. Interleukin 10 is having both the properties. So lot many researches are going on, and these researches have elaborated or concluded that gene polymorphism or of this interleukin 10 affect the secretion of IL-10, which will have relation to immune response to the chronic disorders. Another factors, causative factors of PCOS are epigenetic exposures, which can highlight the intrauterine exposure. You can say maternal androgens or phenotype. You can say that Matrich, Ahar Vihar or Kshetra or Bij, these are also responsible for PCOS. You all know that these are related to PCOS. And after that, in the PCOS patients, we are seeing that there is some variations. Like according to Desh, you will find some variations, or according to their ethnic, we are having variations. Why these type of variations are there? These variations are associated with environmental factors. In which environment your patient is living, what is her socioeconomic conditions, which lifestyle she is following, all are responsible for the different manifestations of the PCOS. And insulin resistance, and you know that insulin resistance is also important, we can say pathophysiological element for the development of the PCOS. And another is hyperandrogenism. We see in our patients that manifestation is in the form of hyperandrogenism. But in menopausal female, or when female is going to the menopausal transition, we have seen that this hyperandrogenism, or you might have seen that in your patients who are entering into menopause, hyperandrogenism is seen being persisted after menopause also. And this is the, you can say, all the responsible factors of the manifestation of the PCOS. Testosterone, we can say aromatization of androgen to estrogen, and premature atresia of the ovarian follicle, and that results into anovulation. And due to anovulation or multiple ovarian follicles, due to excess estrogen, endometrial hyperplasia and neoplasia can happen in the patients of PCOS. That is common manifestations. But some other, we can say, manifestations or features in the female who are having PCOS, other than reproductive system, are, as I told you, that insulin resistance, some metabolic syndrome, or low-grade chronic inflammation are also seen in your patients. So variety of these metabolic disturbances may be related to higher risk of developing cardiovascular disease. Get my point? Why I am discussing this? This extra reproductive manifestations, if patient is having metabolic syndrome or low grade chronic inflammation, what will happen? If continuously or for long period, longer duration, if these are present in the patient who has already attained the menopause, which she was having PCOS also, she may have, or she may is at risk of cardiovascular disease. It means I have searched lot many papers, and this lot many researches also you can see that polycystic ovarian syndrome is high risk factor for cardiometabolic or cardiovascular disorders. And generally we see that PCOS females are young, but in perimenopausal females also, we have to focus on that, we can say that which manifestations are there in your patients, like she is having diabetes or CVD or anything. For that, you have to start counseling from the age of 35, which we are doing at our institute, that after the age of 35, to have healthy menopause, we have to start counseling of the females. But for that, in the PCOS patients, especially, we have to examine them. Generally, what patient says that she was having infertility, she was having PCOS, now she has conceived, now no need to treat the PCOS, or she is not bothered about that. But we have to make aware all the females that you are having PCOS. In future, after 10 years or after 15 years, when you are going to have your menopause, you may be at risk. That we have to explain them. Like future cardiovascular disease, and we have to make prevention strategies for those females, and we have to explain them what you have to do. And we have to make them aware that you have to keep your close observation upon dyslipidemia, hypertension, or diabetes, or any metabolic syndrome. If you are having, you should be conscious. You have to be aware about your problem. So CVD markers like coronary artery calcium scores also being advised to our patients. We advise that you have to go for that. You have to have investigations like CRP or carotid intima media thickness, and endothelial dysfunction are the main, we can say, that increasing factor in our patients who are having PCOS. Like dyslipidemia, most common lipid abnormalities in the patients of PCOS. These levels will be elevated, like you can say triglycerides will be elevated, or low density lipoprotein cholesterol, LDL-C will be elevated, or VLDL-C, very low density lipoprotein cholesterol, and low high density lipoprotein cholesterol levels. These are all deranged in the patients of PCOS. It means she is having dyslipidemia. So you have to make her aware that you be aware about your lifestyle. You do change in your lifestyle, and mechanism of obesity also should be, or we can say, explain to our patients that there can be overproduction of VLDL due to your lifestyle, or abnormal lipoprotein lipase mediated lipolysis is there due to your lifestyle. We have to explain them that how and why you are having this problem. Counseling is must. So insulin resistance also is linked to hypertriglyceridemia. And for that, some hepatic production of ApoB is responsible, which is having VLDL. Right. So some researches have done that if we give our patients to flutamide, that is androgen antagonist, resulted into lipid profile are reduced. It means if it is given to the patients of PCOS, lipid profile will come into normal range. It means dyslipidemia is related to PCOS, and it can be related to cardiovascular problems. Second thing, you see that in this diagram, it is mentioned that primary mechanism for insulin resistance may be involved in the increase of serine phosphorylation, which causes post-binding defects in insulin signaling. You can see in this diagram. And secondly, impairment in the tyrosine phosphorylation of insulin receptors. And insulin receptor substrate 1 affects metabolic pathways in ovaries. And by this, she may have increased risk of type 2 diabetes mellitus and decreased glucose transport 4. However, we can say that close monitoring with screening for this type of symptoms or type 2 diabetes mellitus of your patients may help to avoid this type of problems in your patients. Now, second thing is hypertension. Hypertension, or you can say that hypertension in women with PCOS may be through the imbalance in the autonomic nervous system, increased renal sodium reabsorption, as well as reduction in the production of nitric oxide. That is very much important. And here I have quoted that coronary artery calcium. It is very much important. In some research studies have done, and they have compared to normal females what was the ratio of coronary artery calcium in the females of PCOS in comparison to the females who are not having PCOS, right? Same as prevalence according to the age group. See, 40 to 61 years, in the females, 46% was reported coronary artery calcium, and carotid intima media thickness was seen higher in the women of PCOS. Means increase in CIMT in the female of PCOS has been, we can say, related to higher level of circulating insulin. It can predispose circulating total cholesterol, LDLG, TG, CRP, interleukin 18, as well as lower level of HDL-C, and so as to abdominal obesity. Now, important pathogenesis is endothelial dysfunction. It is influenced by the elevated level of markers of inflammation. It means it supports that chronic inflammation contributes to endothelial dysfunction. Remember, inflammation, Shoth is there. When there will be Shoth, there will be dysfunction. We see in our patients also, in any part of the body, if there is Shoth, there will be dysfunction of that part. Same as pathway, if there is inflammation, that pathway results into endothelial dysfunction, and that can be due to insulin resistance also. As you all know that insulin what do? Insulin exerts vasodilatory effect, right? That occurs secondary to the release of endothelium derived nitric oxide. And insulin resistance is associated with reduction in the synthesis and release of nitric oxide, as I told you earlier. And that will enhance the inactivation, or we can say insulin resistance will inactivate. If nitric oxide is released, it will be inactivated by insulin resistance. And that causes constriction. And this constriction will result into vascular stiffness. So vasodilatory action of insulin is seen in the women of PCOS. Getting my point now? See this classification, how PCOS is related to cardiovascular disease risk. This is latest, we can say, groups or division of the manifestation of the PCOS patients. As per the phenotype of PCOS, risk of CVD is different. So they have distributed as phenotype A, phenotype B, phenotype C, and phenotype D. So menstrual irregularity, hyperandrogenism, generalized and abdominal obesity, and insulin resistance are more pronounced in the women with, you can see that they are having phenotype A and B compared to those diagnosed with the non-classic PCOS, that is phenotype C and D. So ovulatory PCOS, phenotype C, you can see that ovulatory dysfunction is seen in phenotype C. It is associated with lower BMI, lower prevalence of obesity, lesser degrees of hyperandrogenism, and hyperinsulinemia. In addition to lower prevalence of metabolic syndrome and milder form of dyslipidemia, if there is patient of phenotype C. So according to phenotype, we have to advise to our patients. So global CVD risk also should be routinely assessed in the women of PCOS, that is concluded by a study. That if patient is having obesity, history of IGT, gestational diabetes, family history of diabetes, or family history of hypertension, those females should be screened by GTT, or you can say that oral glucose testing. And along with that, lipid profile, blood pressure, weight should be monitored regularly. This is preventive aspect, or we can say awareness program in the females who are having already PCOS. And if you do this thing, it can help to your patients to be, or we can say that they will not have such type of disease, or they will not have CVD, and they will favor your patients. But some studies are also say that it is not that much related to reproductive age group. So chronic condition which must be managed throughout the life of a female. I also already told you this thing that impaired GTT, everything should be assessed in your patient during menopausal transition. So during menopausal transition, we see in our patient that androgen levels are known to remain stable or even to increase as women enter in the menopause. But estrogen level decrease dramatically as there is no ovulation, so estrogen will be reduced. And as women become more androgenic, insulin resistance, chronic inflammation, abdominal adiposity, dyslipidemia, that will be worsen in your patients. And adrenal androgen secretion will be pronounced in the patients of menopause. So long-lasting hyperandrogenism may magnify the unfavorable hormonal and metabolic changes related to menopause. And due to that, female will be exposed to health risks. And for that, some investigations are being advised to patients that they should have such type of investigation, that is HAMAIR, that value is always high if compared to females who are not having history of PCOS. You all know that in the PCOS patients, AMH level is always high in the comparison to females who are not having PCOS. So that also can be correlated with antral follicle when you are doing examination of your patients. So without PCOS, I already told this thing to you that AMH level is already high in your patients. It means if AMH level is high, there will be follicle in the ovary. So those female who are having AMH level high will be having menopause 2 years later. It means females who are having polycystic ovarian syndrome will enter into menopause 2-3 years later than other females in the comparison of other females. And metabolic syndrome, I already discussed that lipid metabolism will worsen and unfavorable lipid profile will be seen. So we have to examine all the things in our patient, that weight, circumference, cholesterol, triglyceride levels. We have to examine in the patients when they reach at the age of 40. During 40 years to 50 years, you have to keep watch upon these levels, or you can advise to your patients that after age of the 40 years, do annual examination, do annual investigations of these and these things, and keep control upon your waist circumference. Otherwise, you may have cardiovascular problems. So, many studies are being going on after the age of 35 years, and they have seen that these levels are somewhat higher in the patients who are having PCOS. So in our institute also, we are doing awareness program in the female who have crossed 35 years of age. After the age of 35, we make them aware, we prepare them for coming menopause, that you are approaching to menopause. So according to their prakriti, we explain them, we can say we can teach them, how to examine your prakriti. We teach them, examine your prakriti. According to prakriti, you follow diet and lifestyle to be happy, to be healthy after the menopause. And climacteric symptoms, we explain them. You may have such and such type of problems after the age of 40 years. So keep watch upon those symptoms, and according to that, take care of you. So, and this I already told you that androgen levels after menopause, if higher, it may have cardiovascular risk remains increased and affects the morbidity, right? So constant long-term exposure to elevated androgen levels, female will have this type of some dermatological components also. The hair will be lost. They may have balding. They may have some dermatological problems after attaining their menopause. So, in short, I will explain you that risk factors in the females who are having PCOS and what can be the risk factor to menopause. So take home some points I will explain you, and then I will jump to management portion also, that with which principles I do treat to my patients who are having PCOS, who are entering into the menopause. So first thing, that PCOS does not disappear as women get into menopause. Remember, first thing, right? Secondly, lipid profile in women with PCOS differ from those in women without PCOS after menopause. There will be difference. Third thing, females who are having PCOS reach menopause a few years later. Right? Third thing. Fourth thing, that inflammatory and metabolic parameters, like I discussed in detail, that interleukin and all, that will worsen with age, and they put women in the increased risk of lifelong health issues after menopause. So we can understand that why females are having CVD after menopause, why they are having type 2 diabetes or arterial hypertension. Those all are related with their health of reproductive system also. And that should be taken into consideration. So now what to do? Counseling, screening, and management options. Three things we have to do. First thing, counseling. Second, screen the females that on which point you are going to explain them. Third thing, what management options you are going to advise to your patients. Which type of supports you are going to give to your patients by their dietary modifications or lifestyle modifications, what you are going to advise to them, and which type of metabolic complications may they have, that we have to explain to them. And for that, I always prefer, or I always explain to my patients that Ritu Sandhi Shodhan should be started from the age of 35 years to remain healthy after menopause. Right? Rasayana Aushadhi should be started from the age of 35 years. And being clinician or consultants, what we have to do, we have to focus upon Rasavasrotas, Raktavasrotas, and along with that, Pitta also. Always we think that PCOS is Vata Kafaj Dushti. But I have seen that it is Tridoshaj Dushti. And in some patients, there is Pitta Dushti also. So we have to keep focus upon Pitta also, as Pitta can be responsible for their postmenopausal problems. So watch upon all the three doshas. And very important, stress factor also should be assessed. And for that, we advise Shirodhara to our patients. It is our, we can say, treatment protocol, part of our treatment protocol of menopausal females, that we advise them Shirodhara also. So now, as I discussed with you in detail about interleukin 6, interleukin 6, when raised, think upon that it is short, right? So, Shwethu Chikitsa, mentioned in Charak Chikitsa 12, may give result to your patients of PCOS if you are going to treat your patients. And Charak Acharya has mentioned Langhan, Pachan, and Shodhan. And Tikta Grit is mentioned in the Chikitsa of Shodha. So if we give Tikta Grit to the patients for PCOS, for if you are planning Shodhan, you can select Tikta Grit also, and that will give result. Some combinations are also mentioned in Charak Chikitsa Sthan, that Trikatu, Trivritta, Katurohini, with the Anupan of Trifalakashaya. It is very good combination if you advise to your patients of PCOS, is give excellent results as it gives Shodhan. There is Trivritta, there is Katukarohini, Trifalakashaya is Anupan, and I have seen that this combination giving result to the patients who are having Krura Koshta. In Mrudu Koshti patients, don't advise this combination Trikatu Trivrit Katu Rohini with Anupan of Trifalakashaya. You select this combination in the patients who are having Krura Kost. Mridi Kost patients, you can select Haritaki with Gomutra, or Haritaki, Nagar, Devdaru, and Punarnava. See, so nice combination. Punarnava is also there. So, you know that if there is involvement of Mutravra Sotas also, Kled is also there, they can be Srotarodha. to remove that Srotarodha, this combination is advised. So you can do small research or small study that if in the patients of PCOS, interleukin 6 is raised, if I give Haritaki Nagar Devdaru Punarnava, what is the result upon this interleukin 6? Right? Then decoction of Shunthi and Pitadaru. It is also very good combination. It is also helpful in the patients who are having Bridukostra. Then if patient is having Tridoshaj type of manifestations in PCOS, you give Shama, Erand, black pepper, cinnamon, Devdaru, Punarnava, ginger and Danti. See, very nice combination. And it will definitely give results to your patient. You will not see that this type of treatment is given or is in routine to your patients of PCOS. But on the line of Shotha, as we are understanding in the viewpoint of modern pathology, treatment we are giving Ayurvedic. So understanding of pathology and breakage of that samprapti of modern pathology, we can give such type of medications and will get results to our patients. And some classical medications after Shodhan, lot many yoga are mentioned in Shotha Chikitsa. These I have already tried in my patients of PCOS. You can also advise that Gandhirya arist or lot many asa arist I have quoted in this slide. And Faltrikadya arist also is giving very good result. And along with that, you also know that Krishnadi Churna, Kshara Gutika, Guda Ardraka Yoga, and especially Kamsa Haritaki, Patol Muladi Kashai also can be given to the patients of PCOS. But we are discussing the patients who are entering into menopause. To those patients also, you can advise after assessment of probable complications in later life, you can advise any yoga out of this combination also you can advise. If after investigations you have seen that lipid profile is deranged, then focus upon Medhavasrotas. And for that, teach patient to have Udvartan at fixed interval, not daily. We advise them Udvartan after 2 months, after 3 months, or thrice in a year. You can advise to those patients who are at risk, who are having PCOS, but may have such type of lipid profile changes after menopause also. In that patients also, you can advise Udvartan, you can advise them Lekhan Basti, and very good Nasya is Trifladi Taila. You give them Trifladi Taila, you advise them to have pretty much Nasya of this Trifladi Taila. In good combination of Guduchi, Musta, Haritaki, Bibitaki, and Amlaki. It means Trifla, Musta, and Guduchi is good combination that you can advise to your patients so that she will not have lipid profile deranged. That will be controlled, and she will you can help her to prevent the cardiovascular problem. And Pathya also can be advised, and very important thing is modifications in Vihar should be advised to the patients. So, in short, that all these rotas can be involved in the patients who are entering into menopause, but specifically to save the females from cardiovascular problem or other disorders uh, which are or which can put your female at risk, can be prevented by helping them or by make them aware regarding their problems. So in short, I have explained you the things. So you can, we can take questions also.
Thank you, ma'am, for the amazing session. Now the session is open for discussion, and participants with any queries can raise their hand and clarify their doubts directly with ma'am.
Hope it was helpful to all of you.
Ma'am, we have Dr. Masuria with a question.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, I had a patient of age around 45, and she had a complaint of heavy bleeding, and
Okay.
she have menses every 15 days, and she had sonography before. Then the doctor diagnosed that her endometrium lining was getting thickened, and before that she consulted to another doctor that this advice for DNC. She did that. She had DNC. Then in that reports were normal, and still at that time when she had DNC, then at that time she was not having much bleeding, heavy bleeding. But after that, now she is also having the same bleeding of heavy bleeding. Then what should be advised, ma'am?
Yeah, same thing. When you told that your patient was having 45 years of age and having heavy bleeding, directly I was thinking that your patient might be having endometrial hyperplasia. See, that there is endometrial hyperplasia, right?
Okay,
So
ma'am.
it is a shoth. As I told you that we have to be focused upon shoth, samprapti, right?
Okay, ma'am.
So there is Shotha in the endometrium. Kshetra in the uterus is a Kshetra. In that
Yes, ma'am.
Kshetra is Shoth. So you
Yes,
can
ma'am.
also follow this management of Shotha. And if patient is not ready for this Shodhan therapy or another, so you can advise them Shaman treatment. And for that, I generally advise that Keshor Gugalu, Punarama Mandu, because you have to remove clade from that also, right? Uh,
Yes, ma'am.
there is endometrial thickness is increasing, and we have to remove the shotha there, and we have to remove the clade from that area. So you advise them Keshar Gugalu, Punarama Mandu. Along with that, that is the age of menopause. So Ashokaris
Yes,
will
ma'am.
help to your patient.
Ashoka.
Yes, yes. These three medications will be very good in your patient, and will be okay after I think 1 month or 2 months.
And ma'am,
Uh, so,
dosage?
Keshar Google should be given in the dose of 2 TID. And what is the weight of that patient? What about
Uh,
weight?
Around 65. She is
Uh,
healthy.
you can say that she is having obesity.
Sorry, ma'am.
She is obese or overweight.
No, ma'am. She is not obese.
She is not obese. So
Yes,
then
ma'am.
you give her Arogya Vardhini for 7 days, and then you advise your this medications Keshar Google, Punana Mandu, and Ashokaris for 3 months. Then she will
Okay.
not have endometrial hyperplasia in next cycle.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anybody wants to discuss cases like this? Those are welcome. I like that.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And next we have Dr. Luptika with a question.
Right.
Namaste, madam. It was a wonderful session.
Namaste.
Madam, I just want to know, madam, there is one case, lady,
Yeah.
around 32, 33 years, slightly obese, Staulia,
Okay.
and endometrial thickness is more.
More.
So she's willing for, actually she's a case of infertility.
Infertility, right?
So
Okay.
more, yeah, endometrial thickness is there. How can we reduce her endometrial thickness, madam? By giving Uttana, Lekana Basti or something else we'll have to give, ma'am?
What about her follicular study?
Follicular study is normal, madam. Except for endometrial thickness is very high.
She's having normal ovulation.
Yeah, normal ovulation.
Yeah, see. So this case is not like that previous case, right?
Yeah.
She's having normal ovulation. So all the doshas are doing their function properly. But
Okay.
Pitta dosh is increasing endometrial thickness.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there is capillaries are having more blood inside them. So tortuous capillaries inside the endometrium. So you have to follow the treatment of Pitta dosha. Pitta shamak chikitsa you have to do in this patient. You can give Tikta Kshirabasti also to your patients. You can give Lekhan Basti. You can do Virechan in that patient. And after that, you give Shaman Aushadhi, which work upon the Pitta, like Kushmanda you can give, Dhatrilo you can give, Tapyadilo you can give. Like that, you have to subside her Pitta and give advice her of Pitta Shamak diet and lifestyle.
Okay. Madam, Kushmanda Leha, or should I give Kushmanda in which form, ma'am?
Kushmanda Leha can be given to your patients.
Yeah, will Staulia not increase, ma'am?
No, there will not be increase in Sthaulya. After Lekhan Basti, after Viration, you advise Kushmanda because Pitta is doing pathology in this case. That see, in menstrual cycle physiology, what happens in the starting, kapha will regenerate the endometrium, right? And after ovulation, Pitta should be come into action and it make endometrial thickness thick. Blood circulation towards uterus or blood in the capillaries are due to the pitta. So you have to give medication pitta shamak and rakta shodhak. Rakta shuddhi also should be done in these patients. So rakta shodhak and pitta shamak chikitsa will be helpful in this case.
Madam, how, like, for how many months can we give her, can we confirm that after 2 months or 3 months we will conceive or something like that? How can we convince them, ma'am?
How can you convince to that patient? Yeah, you do counseling of that patient that we are giving you the duration to clean your system. You do counseling of that patient, and after cleaning, you advise that I explain to my patient that Ritu Kshetra Mubij like that you have to prepare your field. So we are preparing your field, and for that we are doing this type of variation. And after that, we nourish your field, and then you will conceive. Like that, if you do counseling to your patient, then psychological impact will be also there, and she may conceive.
Yeah, 3 to 4 months, ma'am, duration. Can
Yeah,
we?
easily. Sometimes patient conceive in 2 months also. Sometimes 3 months. If all the factors are okay, then no issue. I think.
Thank you, madam. One more question, madam.
And
In
see, in this patient, your Pitta Shamak medication should be given when the follicle size is of 18 to 20 mm. After that, you start. For 1 week, you give. If you are afraid of that, she will have Sthauli or like that. So start the medication like Kushmanda all from the 12th day to 20th day. 1 week also you can advise.
Okay, madam. Thank you, madam. One more question, madam. In menopause, ladies like excess sweating will be there. Hot flushes.
Hot flush.
Yeah, for one lady I have, she attained menopause 5 years back, and usually hot flushes will be for few years or so. But since 5 years, she has been having that sweating. Is it due to some other reason, or is it due to Ati Meda? But she is lean. She is not Staulia also. So what is the reason and what is the treatment for that, ma'am?
See, 3 reasons are there. Pitta dosha is there, stress is there, and kshaya is there. Dhatu kshaya. 3 causes can be there. You examine that patient. You take detailed history. If she is having any stress in her mind, that can also cause the hot flush. If she is having pitta vriddhi, if she is having short temper like that, so that also should be asked or evaluated. And if she is having dhatuk share due to agni mandya, that also should be evaluated. And if she is having stress factor, shirodhara will give very good result.
The slight stress is there.
Yeah, if she is having dhatuk share, then you advise her rasayan. Guduchi, Gokshur, Amlaki. We advise to our patients that Guduchi, Gokshur, and Amlaki. This is Rasayan Churna. We have done research upon this hot flush. We have given this Rasayan Churna with Shirodhara and got very good result in our patients. So you explore these 3 causative factors in your patients and you will have benefit, I think.
Madam, Guduchi, Gokshura.
Amlaki in equal quantity.
Okay. Madam, with what? Anupana, madam?
Anupana water.
Water. Okay.
Yes.
Madam, should we do like Udvartana Kriya with
No. Udvartana will not give result in the patients of hot
Multan
flush.
Mutti, Multan Mitti or something like
It is not giving result.
it is not giving result, ma'am.
No. In hot flush, you do Shirodhara.
Okay, madam. So
Yeah.
this will do, ma'am. Okay.
Otherwise, you advise her Abhyang with coconut oil. That will also help. Instead of Udvartan, advise Abhyang with coconut oil. As you told that your patient is lean and thin, right? So Abhyang,
Normal weight, 60 kg. She is 60 kg.
yeah, coconut oil is Pitta Shamak, right? So coconut oil will give result in your patient in this case.
Madam, one more question. In infertility, like one lady, she is around 26 years. Due to tubal pregnancy, one tube has been removed. So in another tube, she has to get conceived. But her endometrial thickness is not increasing.
Okay.
It is around 4 or 5 mm. So actually, I had given her Grutapana and everything. It had come to 7 mm, ma'am. But how should I go in order? Can you guide me, madam?
You do Uttarvasti also?
No, I have knowledge of it, but I haven't done, madam. But
Okay.
I'll.
Okay, no issue. If you are not having facility of Uttarvasti, you do
I have
Unipichu.
a facility, madam, but I'm not able to do alone. I need someone with me so that I can start up. With the
Okay,
help of
you can do Unipichu.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, then you give her Unipichu with Falagrita.
Okay, madam.
Falagrita Unipichu post-menstrual up to 10 days.
Okay.
Okay. And then you give her Yastimadu, Guduchi and Amlaki.
Yeah. Shatavari will help, madam?
Yes, Shatavari also will help. Shatavari Kalpuri. Yeah, Shatavari I generally give, but that can be given after ovulation. If your patient is having ovulation proper, otherwise you give continuously for 2 months Shatavari. That will also help.
Yeah, I have started her on Shatavari and Grutapana, Shatavari Grutapana, ma'am.
Shatavari Grita is also good. That also can be given. Shatavari Grita Pichu also will be helpful to your patients.
Okay, madam, is there anything should I start before ovulation period? Any Gruta, and after ovulation period, should I start with Palasarpi or what?
Yeah, yes. In the starting, you give her this Shatapushpa.
Yeah.
You give her Shatapushpa pre-ovulatory period, and in post-ovulatory, you give Shatavari.
Okay. Shatapushpa dosage, ma'am?
Shatapushpa, if available, you give Shatapushpa churna to your patient in the dose of 3-4 grams. That will help.
With honey or water, ma'am?
With water.
Okay.
And along with that, you give her Jirkadya wrist.
Okay, ma'am.
Jirkadya wrist is also helpful in this case. So Jirkadya wrist with this Shatapushpa. Yeah.
Then
You
after ovulation with the Shatavari Gruta,
yes.
ma'am?
Yeah. After ovulation, you give her Shatavari Grita.
Or Falagruta is also okay?
Better to give Shatavari Grita.
Okay,
And if endometrial thickness is proper, then Falagrita also can be given.
Okay, madam.
Give Falagrita Pichu, Falagrita for Pichu only, and Shatavari Grita for oral.
Okay, madam.
Right.
Madam, Uttarabasti, what can I do, ma'am, with
Uttarvasti, you see my video of Uttarvasti. You will learn.
Okay.
You search on YouTube, or otherwise I will send to your coordinator. They will circulate you that video. Right.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
See that, and you will definitely learn Uttarvasti by that video.
Yeah. I do Matra Basti everything, but Uttara Basti I haven't done.
Yes, Matra Basti Matra Basti will also help in this case. If you do Matra Basti, then do Matra Basti with Ksheerabala oil.
Ksheerabala tail, ma'am.
Yes. Ksheerabala tail Matra Basti will also help in your patient.
Okay, madam.
Hmm.
Uttara Basti with the Shatavari Gruta or?
Yeah, Shatavari Grit also good for you. If you want to increase thickness, Shatavari Grit, Falagrit, all are helpful.
Okay, madam. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
And you give Nasya also, Shatavari Siddhatal Nasya,
Okay, madam.
Pratimasha Nasya to your patient.
Okay.
It will also help.
Okay. We get it in market, madam, Shatavari Siddha Tail?
You can prepare at your own.
Okay, madam.
Yeah, it is not that much tough. You prepare at your own.
Okay, thank you, madam. Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, we have another participant with a question.
Okay.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, I was having a question about lean PCOD. Can you tell me something about it? And what is the risk in it?
Lean PCOS patient. You are having patient or you generally want to learn theory?
Patient there.
You are
Actually,
having.
I'm a student. I wanted to know.
I'm not
You
getting
told you told that there are risks of CVD and
Yeah. In lean patients also there are risk of cardiovascular disease. There is
diabetes
no
mellitus.
Yes, there is no rule that obese patients only will be having cardiovascular disease. Lean patients also are seen that if they are having PCOS, they are having risk of cardiovascular disease after menopause. So all the patients should be counseled. They should be advised lifestyle modification also when they enter into menopause. They are into menopause transition.
I hope the doubt was cleared. Shall we move on to the next question, ma'am? Next person, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. Next, we have Dr. Rupal Shah with a question.
Hello, ma'am. I have a couple of patients who are college-going students, and they're having irregular menses in a way that they get spotting mostly any time of the month. And one of them complains that whenever she drives a vehicle and or plays some basketball or something, then she gets a spotting, but she is not having proper flow as we get in menses. And the cycles are also cannot be counted because whenever there's no certain flow, there's spotting all time any day of the month. So how to judge that? In sonography, it shows PCOS. That is how I got to know that they are PCOS patients. But then I have started Chandraprabha Punarnavadi, and I'm giving some Rasayan also with them. Rasapachak Vati I'm giving for Agni Deepana and Arogya Varshini. So this is what I'm giving. I got results, but then I'm not sure how to treat with patients properly.
You explore their lifestyle. What is their lifestyle? In college going girls, generally we find that they are having habit of fast food and these things that we have to stop. Otherwise, you will not get result whatever treatment you give.
Yes.
That is foremost important thing in the patients who are having PCOS. You have to stop all the fast food, all the bakery items, pizza, burger, chowmein, momo, noodles, chips, kurkure, and these white things, bread, biscuit. Also, I advise to my patient that you have to stop these things.
Yes,
Then
madam.
only,
Stop
yeah,
their junk, and one of them is exercising regularly. She's playing sports, and the
yeah.
other one was little. She was doing CA, so more of sitting. But I changed her lifestyle as well. I
Yeah.
got rid of the
And
patient.
second thing that
All
if they are
why this plotting all this happen?
if they are going to gym, that also should be stopped. See, gym also increase their male hormones, so that also should be stopped. I advise to my patients that don't go to gym, do yogasan. Generally, in young, yeah, college going girls, they are having habit to join the gym. So that also should be
My
explored.
query was why this spotting happens and they do not get a proper flow.
Yeah. I am going to that portion, but first of all, what we overlook that should be explained that lifestyle modification is very much important before advising treatment to your patients. See, right? So first of all, give dietary modifications, then modification in their vihar, and then jump to treatment portion. Right. So now your question is your patients are having spotting only and no regular periods. Right.
Correct. Yes.
So it means their endometrium is not being properly formed. That is the thing, and
Okay.
it gets shedding when in as in when they are having predisposing factor which hurts the endometrium only, that you told that while playing or something or driving, uh,
Yes.
by that there is jerk, and whatever endometrium is formed it will be released. So there is no formation of endometrium. So same treatment protocol that I previously advised to that previous madam, that you advise them Shatapushpa Kalpa and then
Mhm.
Shatavari.
Okay.
Combination of Shatapushpa and Shatavari will work in your patients.
Okay, ma'am.
Shatapushpa is very much important in ovulation, and after that formation of endometrium will be formed by Shatavari. So give these
Yeah.
two combination to your patients. Rest of the treatment is okay. Aragyavardhini, Chandraprabha are okay, but these two things should be advised to your patients.
Okay, ma'am.
Hmm.
Any quantity of Pushpa Churna that we
Yeah,
recommend?
Shatapushpa Churna generally can be started from 2 gram and can be increased. And
Okay.
if you are not able to take, then do continue with 3 to 4 grams.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. And
Mm,
then Shatavari is available in the form of granules also. That granules can be advised to them.
yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Any Basti or something will work for this?
Yeah, Basti may work, but first of all, you give these oral medications, and if you can give Kumari Asav also, or otherwise start medications with Faltrika Dikashaya. Give Faltrika Dikashaya for 1 week. That will cause Shuddhi, Kshetra Shuddhi. After that, you
Mhm.
start this medication, Shatapushpa and then Shatavari and Kumari Asav. Right. And in
Okay.
after one cycle, you start Matrabasti. Matrabasti can be given with this Sahachar tail, or the Shmul tail also can be given in these patients.
Okay, ma'am.
Hmm.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, we have many questions in the chat box. So shall I read them out, ma'am?
Yeah, you read.
Okay. Ma'am, there is this question from Dr. Tejaswini. Ma'am, the patient is of age 25, married for 2 years with PCOD, scanty menstruation, unicornuate uterus, and pituitary inflammation, and high prolactin levels. And she's also anxious to conceive. So, what can we do in this case, ma'am?
Same Shodhan therapy should be given first. After Shodhan, you give her treatment as I told. Shatapushpa Shatavari can be given, or whatever as per the detailed history. She can do modifications if there is no ovulation or if there is no endometrial thickness. All I think we have discussed. According to that, that can be advised to the patient. I think so.
Okay, ma'am. I hope that doubt was clear.
Hmm.
And there is another question from Dr. KS. And does a patient aged about 28 years, history of PCOS, she has taken hormonal therapy since 6 years, ovarian drilling surgery, but still infertile. So, what can we do in this case, ma'am?
PCOS should be treated first. First of all, Vaman should be done in this case. After Vaman, Virechan can be given. After that, Basti can be given. Right. And after Vaman Vireshan Basti, only you start the shaman therapies. Otherwise, you will not going to get result in this patient. Kapha should be removed by Vaman, and then only you will get result in this patient.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I hope that was clear too. And next, there is a question from Dr. Anuradha. Girl of 24 years, amenorrhea, lean PCOS. Since menarche, she used to menstruate once in 45 days. She was taking allopathy for 2 years for withdrawal bleeding. AMH is high, DHEA high, endometrial thickness is 10.2 millimeter. And now after giving Ayurveda medicine, Nasya got brownish discharge twice in 4 months, but not getting proper menstrual flow. And testosterone levels are normal, and DHEA high, and facial hirsutism.
Clear, full-blown case of PCOS is that. So, Rasa Raktava Shruta Shuddhi, that she is having dark color menstruations, right? So, there is Raktava Shrutas Avarod. So, Rasa, along with that, Raktava Shruta Shuddhi should be done in this patient. And what else? She told that 45 cycle is of 45 days, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So in this case, she should be given Saptasara Kashaya with Kumaryasa, along with Aragyavardhini and Chandraprabhavati.
Okay.
This combination should be given in these patients after doing Raktava Shruta Shuddhi. And if that patient is lean, she can be added Laghuvasan Maltiras also. Some one rasayan is required in this case. So Laghuvasan Malti should be added in this patient.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Next, we have Dr. Meghna Yogesh with a question. Doctor? Dr. Meghna? As I think we lost her, ma'am. Next, we have Dr. G.S. Rajeshwari with a question.
Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, I have a question. A female of 18 years, she is having primary amenorrhea, ma'am, and her secondary sexual characters have been developed, and all the hormonal levels and her ultrasound scanning, everything is normal. But she hasn't found even a spot as per the history, and she's telling like she's having a primary amenorrhea.
Okay.
And secondary sexual characters are normal, like prominent.
And what about ultrasonography report?
It is normal, ma'am. Endometrial thickness is showing like on an average. It is not very like thick to 8 mm or so. It is showing every time it is showing 5 mm to 6 mm.
What is the 18 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, in this case, you give
They are
Shirabala.
saying 18 years, but I think so she would have attained 20 years.
Okay. So there is no need of Shodhan in this case. We have to start with Deepan Pachan and then Rasayan Chikitsa should be given. First of all, you give her Kshirabala Tel Matravasti for 3 months, right? Or
Okay.
we can say that first give for 7 days, then give gap of 15 days, then again 7 days, again give gap of 15 days. Like this, you give her Kshirabharatel Matravasti, right? And after the gap of 3 weeks, you give Brihanavasti. Okay. And after that, I think she may have menstruation. Rasayan Chikitsa is must in this patient, or otherwise you can go with this Shatapushpa Kalpa, Shatavari Kalpa to that patient. And I think detailed history should be explored in this patient. What other predisposing factors are there? and stress is also there, or lifestyle factors are there. That should also be explored in your patients, and what is the cause. And according to cause, modifications can be advised to your patients.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, we have Dr. Aarti with a question.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, I have a patient of age around 23, and she is having a complaint of PCOS since last 5 years, and she doesn't get menses regularly. And without medication, she is complaining that she doesn't get menses without medication.
Okay.
For that, she has to take some medicines. So what should be done?
Now, first of all, tell her that this withdrawal bleeding habit should be stopped. Otherwise, you explain her that otherwise you may have cancer in future. Like that, I explained to my patient, and then you start the treatment. And washout period is required. In this case, that she is having history of hormonal treatments. The withdrawal bleeding has stopped working of all the system. So we have to make system work, right?
Okay, ma'am.
So for that, Mridu Virechan can be given, or Nitya Virechan, like Iran Sneha can be given. Yeah, Iran Sneha can be given to this patient. According to her cost, Mridu Madhya Krura cost, you see what is her cost, and according to cost, 10, 20, 30 ml. If she is having Mridu cost, 10 ml can be given. If she is having Madhya cost, then 20 ml. If Krura cost, then 30 ml. But it should be given in the morning.
Okay, ma'am.
Early morning, you advise her to take with warm milk, and then walk for half an hour, and then she will have some motions that you have to explain her. And during that period, she should consume hot water.
Hot water. Okay.
Yeah. And when regurgitation or smell of errandsneer stops, then only she can have breakfast or something else. And during that period, lagu ahar like dal, moong, khichdi, ghee, this should be advised to that patient. And this errandsneer can be given for 10 days.
10 days.
Yeah, for the duration of 10 days can be given. After that, generally, she will have her menstruation. And after her menstruation, you give her yoga basti.
Yoga basti.
Yeah, you give her matra basti for 2 days, then erandamul added with Shatpushpa Kalka and Madhu Sneha. You give Astapan basti, then 1 day Anuvasan Astapan. Like that, 8 days duration of yoga basti should be given to these patients, and that can be repeated for 3 cycles. And she will be okay. But yeah, it will be okay. But do counseling of that patient that you don't take such type of withdrawal bleeding. And lifestyle modification should be advised if she is having habit of this fast food and bakery items, and that all should be stopped.
Okay, ma'am. And would it lead to infertility, ma'am, in future?
Any psychological factor is there that should also be cleared.
Yes, she was having complaint that if she takes, if she has a stress of exams or something like that, then her period cycle gets regular.
Yeah, that also should be explored. And after yoga basti, she will have a normal ovulation, and then she will conceive. No issue.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, we have a question in the chat box from Dr. Neha Soni. Ma'am, I'm suffering from PCOS and hypothyroidism, age is 21 years, obesity, and my periods are irregular. LMP is 24th October, and it hasn't come yet. What should I do, ma'am? How to manage my situation?
The same treatment I advise in this patient that can be given. Virechan with the Iransneer and then yoga basti. That will help in this patient. And Shirodhara also may have to be given in this patient. Same treatment protocol will work in this case also.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Next, we have a Dr. Asha with a question.
Good evening, ma'am. I
Good
have
evening.
one patient. Okay, ma'am. I have one patient. She is a known case of epilepsy, ma'am. She is on anti-epileptic drugs, and she is also having PCOS since 4 years. Her periods are normal. I know any other signs of hirsutism, obesity, and only the question is after 18 to 20 days, she will be start the follicular growth, and after 20 days, 20th day, the rupture of the follicle will takes place. And what can I suggest, ma'am? I have given already Vamana, Parshvamana, Vamana, Virechana, and one course of yoga I have given. So orally, what can I suggest for her, ma'am, for this condition? Is this epilepsy is a hindrance for the consumer?
I didn't get your question. It was not clear. Voice was not clear for my side.
Okay.
Jyotsna, can you repeat the question?
Yes, the case is anti-epileptic. The patient is anti-epileptic.
Doctor, can you please post your question in the chat box so we can read it out?
Voice is not clear, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Till then, we can take another question.
Yeah, Dr. Asha, please post your question in the chat box so that we can read it out. Next, we have a question from Dr. Jyoti, ma'am.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, one of my patient got menopause. I can say it menopause at 39, and that time her AMH is 0.4, and allopathic doctor declared her you have got menopause. But after that, I gave her woman and one cycle of Matra Basti. Then she got periods in January. Again, there is a gap of 4 months, and again she got periods in starting of end of April. Then what is this, ma'am? This may be menopause or something else? Hello.
Hello. Yeah. Say.
Ma'am, you got my question?
Yeah, patient was having, I think menopause you told, and then after treatment she got periods.
After woman, she got periods in January, and that time I gave him 3 Uttarvasti of Falgar, and continued the Balya medicine.
Okay.
And Shatavari Greth, all this. Then again she got periods in April, last April in this month only.
Okay.
Then what we can say this menopause or any other gynecological problem?
She is having any symptom of perimenopausal age or something
Yes,
else?
ma'am. Sometimes before my treatment she had the hot flashes, mood swings, all this.
Okay. She may enter into menopause, I think. May enter.
Our treatment plan should induce to periods or what I can do?
Yeah, you do Ruti Sandhi Shodhan in this patient.
Okay.
Ruti Sandhi Shodhan will remove all the blockage, and after removing all the blockage, if she will have normal menstrual cycle, then a normal menstrual cycle will be established. If she is going to enter into menopause, normal menopause will be established. Shrotorodha is there to remove your blockage. You advise her to Sandhi Shodhan as after woman she got periods, no?
Yes,
It means, yeah, it means there is Shrotorodha. That's
in Ritu Sandhi Sodhan, what we can do?
According to that we are having Shikshirutu, Shishirutu, Vasantastu, Varsha Saradiman. Okay.
Yes.
As Ritu changed, at that time you give Shodhan. At the change of Ritu, that 1 week you give Shodhan in the form of any, you can give her Sadhyo Vaman, Sadhya Virechan or Nitya Virechan, whatever you like, you can advise to your patient.
And main line of treatment is ever should be Sroto Sodhan, Langan Pachan and Sroto Sodhan Drabya.
Yes, yes, yes. Shrotoshodan is must in this case. That there is Shrotorod. Somewhere there is blockage. Arm is there in her body.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Ma'am, one more question I have.
Pachan and Shrotoshodan should be.
Pachan.
Yes.
Ma'am, I plan this in this like for first 15 days. I give Bruhan to maintain endometrium thickness and all this. Then last second 15 days of cycle, I start giving Arogvardnitra like this Hingvastak Churn, Katuki, all this Agne Dreb, so that they can help to induce the bleeding. Like that I planned. Is it right or something changed?
But before giving Bruhan, you should give Deepan Pachan Langhan.
Okay.
Directly Bruhan will not work.
Okay. And Gratpan is indicated or not? I'm
Yeah, can
giving
be given, but Deepan Pachan Langhan should be done as already there is Shrotoshodan, Shrotorod, and Shrotorod is the result of Agnimandya. She may have Agnimandya. So identify, ask her, take detailed history. If she is having Agnimandya and Amalakshan, then you first of all give Deepan Pachan Langhan and then start this protocol.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, one of my another question is there. One of my patient she's advised for egg donation. Egg donation for IVF. Her ovary size is small, below 2 centimeter, and endometrium thickness is 3 centimeter. I gave him Vaman and 3 cycle of Uttar Basti also, with Falgrat and Matra Basti and all Valli Dravya. But after this also, her endometrium increased till 9, but there is no increase in size of ovaries. Should I refer this patient for IVF or try?
You can give Matra Basti, Brihan Basti, size of ovary will be increased.
Ma'am, I have already given Matra Basti and 3 for 3 cycles.
Yeah, you have given Matra Basti and Uttar Basti, na? You give
no,
her
ma'am. Matra Basti at night time, and after cycle 6th, 7th, 8th day, I gave Uttar Basti and Yoni Pichu already I have given to him. Her.
Yeah, see, Uttar Basti and Yoni Pichu are not going to work upon ovaries. So for
Okay,
that, you have to continue Basti. Brihan Basti can be given to this patient, or Kshir Basti.
Kshir Basti?
Yeah, Kshir Basti can work, or Brihan Basti can work in this patient.
Ma'am, for such type of patient, how many months we should take? Then we should conclude for IVF and all this. For your experience about
Yeah,
it.
generally, I tell them always that there is hope. I never tell that I cannot do anything. So I always hopeful. So you also should be hopeful and try your treatment. You give treatment to patient. Our therapies always work. With this confidence, if you are having your sattva up, then you will give result to your patients. So first of all, in the infertility patients, we have to keep our sattva in up level, I think.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll move to some questions from chat box now, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. A patient age 23 is suffering from severe pain before 2 days of menstruation since 3 months. It only subsides after taking INJ DICLO. No investigations has been done, madam. What should be done in that case?
Vatanuloman, that is clear-cut case of Udavarta Yoni Vyapad. So Vatanuloman is must. Hingvastak Churnavi Shankhavashma should be given at the onset of periods, and Chandraprabhavati should be given prior to periods. And sometimes Kalonji with Shankhavasma also can work in this case.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Nigella sativa, that is the scientific name, that will also work in this case.
Thank you, ma'am. Due to shortage of time, we have to conclude our session now. So thank you, ma'am, for the amazing session and for patiently answering all the questions. And now I would like to invite Dr. Tulya Mohandas, Vice Principal, Ayurveda College, Coimbatore, for a vote of thanks.
On behalf, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening. On behalf of Ayurveda College, Coimbatore and Diksha e-learning, I convey my sincere gratitude to Dr. Kamini ma'am for spending her valuable time and sharing knowledge with everyone. I'm also thankful to all the participants who are gathered here. Last but not the least, I convey my thanks to the entire team of Diksha, my colleagues and students of Ayurveda College, Coimbatore, to make this session a fruitful one. Thank you one and all. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. With that, we come to an end of day one of the lecture series. Thank you so much, ma'am, once again for sharing your time with us. And next webinar of the series would be on 12th May, Wednesday, by Dr. Swagata D, MD, PhD, Assistant Professor, Department of Dravya Guna, G.J. Patel Institute of Ayurveda, Anand, Gujarat, on the topic Herbs Used for Treatment of Type 2 Diabetes Mellitus, a research portrayal. Wishing you all a great evening ahead. Once again, thank you all. Good night. Thank you, ma'am.